What is going on, guys? What is going on, 27 squad? Welcome back into another video. Alright, so we're going to be breaking down the New York Giants versus New York Jets Week 1 preseason game in what was pretty much a snooze fest in all respect, right? I mean, granted, it is a preseason game. It's not going to have the hype build around it, right? There isn't a lot of stakes in this game. You're not, nail biting at the end to see who wins the game. I go into these preseason games every single year, no matter what my expectations are for that particular team in the particular year. I just want to see improvement. I want to see guys that are going to be on the field during the regular season actually performing and doing well. Like guys that are on the field, discounting starters, obviously, because none of the starters played in this game besides the starting offensive line minus Shane Lemieux. But guys that are supposed to be on the field during the regular season, or borderline guys that are fighting for a roster spot, I want to see those guys perform, and we'll get into some of those names today. But really, pretty much my takeaways on this, I'm not going to get too deep into this. Just basically my initial reaction and instant analysis, because I'm going to be doing a video with Jet Central tomorrow. It should be out tomorrow as well. I'm going to be doing a video with Jet Central, kind of, I guess, recapping what both our teams did and pretty much the outlook of these two New York teams in this year and moving forward. But starting off, I want to say something real quick. Zach Wilson is going to be the real deal. Now, Zach Wilson pretty much looked how he looked back in college, right? He was confident. He was poised. Very, very great arm talent. Very good arm. Throws a tight, accurate spiral and a very fast ball as well. You could tell he has that arm strength. So shouts out to Zach Wilson. I don't want to do too much talking about the Jets here, but I have to give the respect to Zach Wilson. He definitely looks good. He definitely needs to clean up his timing. He throws the ball way too fast, and that kind of screws up the timing on a lot of these, I guess, really specific time throws, like slant routes or out routes. You could see him struggling in there, where it would have been accurate had he thrown the ball, a little later or a little sooner, being with how fast this guy throws the football. Sort of what Baker Mayfield had to deal with back in college. He threw the ball very, very fast as well out of college. So, that being said, let's get on to the New York Football Giants. I mean, first off, obviously, the starters did not start in this game, right? Most of the starters did not play in this game. Besides the fact that the Jets starters mostly played this game, and that's something that I really have to commend this Giants team for. Although they did not look good, if you're watching them on a TV screen and you're not even taking into account that these guys aren't starters, facing starters, it looked bad, right? But you have to think about that. This team did not play their starters. They didn't play any of their starters on offense or defense besides the offensive line, like I said, minus Shane Lemieux. Yes, you saw Darius Slayton in there. You saw Tate Crowder in there, Reggie Ragland as well, but these guys aren't fantastic. You saw no stars at all, no stars, and I'm completely okay with that. But we also have to be completely okay with a kind of a bad product for Giants football if none of our stars are on the field facing starters of another team. Doesn't matter if it's the Jets or the Patriots or the Cleveland Browns or the Jacksonville Jaguars. Doesn't matter. When you're facing starters, you're facing the best players a team can offer, you're going to put out a product like this. So, the quarterback play. Let's start off with the quarterback play. It was horrendous. It was absolutely bad. Clayton Thorsen, I cannot watch another game of him. Daniel Jones, please play. Or can we skip these final two preseason games on the offensive side of the football? Can we just run with no quarterback? Because Mike Glennon is just not good, right? It's really hard to believe that the Chicago Bears paid him all that money. With him being 3 of 7 for 20 yards. We didn't even get a passer that threw for over 100 yards in this game. We didn't even get that close, okay? Zach Wilson, who only played a couple of drives, had 63 yards with 6 of 9, 63 yards. And pretty much outplayed both of our quarterbacks, and he was barely on the field. Mike White had the majority of time and was 13 of 19 for 127 yards. Clayton Thorsen was absolutely bad. He was bad. That Damian Willis touchdown was the only thing that saved him. All right, he would be one of the 5 guys cut if it wasn't for the Giants not having a lot of quarterbacks, right? We only have 3 quarterbacks on the roster. These are the best 2 we can offer with Daniel Jones not playing. 72 yards, buddy. And he missed a Damian Willis wide open touchdown. Granted, it was a push off, but the refs missed it. So that was a perfect opportunity for us to score to begin with. Let's move on to the running game. The running game wasn't too shabby. It started off pretty slow with Devontae Booker, right? Devontae Booker had, Andre Williams syndrome, right? The guy that doesn't bother to find the hole, he just puts his nose down and just rams right into his own guys, right? That's pretty much what Devontae Booker did for the majority of this of his time playing. But we saw a real good change with that with Corey Clement. Corey Clement was a guy that me and Kush said it when we were live. It was a man on a mission. He was slippery. He was hard to tackle. He was focused on getting to where he needed to go. It just looked like just pure determination, and that's what I really enjoyed about Corey Clement. And I'm very, very adamant to say, I'm very confident to say, I'm very confident to say that Corey Clement will probably be the running back 2 in the regular season. He'll probably be listed as running back 3, but as the Giants begin to use Devontae Booker and Corey Clement more, they'll begin to soon realize that Corey Clement is just giving them flat out more production. I just like Corey Clement as a runner. I do like Devontae Booker. I thought he would be a lot better than this. I do like him. Let's just be clear about that. It's just he did not put up a good performance, and it's not the stats that I really want. Like, he was 3 of 12, 4 yards per carry. It's not the stats that really bother me. It's just how he was playing. He just wasn't bothered finding the holes. There were a couple of times, I think it was his last rush, where it kind of opened up for him a little bit. He put his head down, kind of tripped over one of his offensive linemen, and it was basically it could have been a 10-yard play, shortened down to like a 3-yard play. Okay, it's things like that, where if it was Corey Clement, Saquon Barkley, even Sandro Platzgummer, we'll talk about him in a second, but even guys like that could have broke that out. Now, Sandro Platzgummer is a guy I've been telling you guys to watch for a while, ever since we got him, and I was watching his highlights because he doesn't have any film, so his highlights from the Austrian Football League. This guy is elusive. When I say that he looked like Christian McCaffrey, I wasn't joking. He did look like, it's not because he's a white running back, okay? He actually looked like Christian McCaffrey as far as how elusive he was when getting the ball and bouncing it outside, and he proved exactly that with that huge 48-yard run, 12.8 yards per carry, had 4 carries. This guy should make the roster. I hope he's going to make the roster. He's our leading rusher, so he's definitely not going to be cut tomorrow. There's 5 guys that need to be cut, so he's definitely not going to be cut there. Alfred Morris didn't really provide anything useful. CJ Board had a reverse or a sweep play for 12 yards. That was pretty well. It was off of an audible play, but it was pretty good. So obviously there's nothing to really take away from the wide receivers, being that the total amount of yardage from both these 2 quarterbacks were a grand total of 92 yards. So obviously you're not going to get a lot from these wide receivers, but let's make what we can. Let's do what we can with these numbers here. David Sills, I called it out in that live stream that we did with Kush. I called it out. I said, I really want to see David Sills get tested downfield, right? Because that's something that it was his bread and butter back in West Virginia when he made that switch to wide receiver. His speed mixed in with his long length and his long arms, his long wingspan, grants him a bigger catch radius. And on top of that, he has some deceivingly good speed. So him being able to run like that and catch the ball like in college, I really wanted to see him get tested here in this preseason game, and he got tested about 3 times. One of them was incomplete, 2 of them were complete, and there was 1 missed in the back of the end zone as well, which could have been complete if it was a slightly better thrown ball. But David Sills did what he needed to do. I mean, he did what he's on this team to do. I mean, that's exactly who he is, and I think he's going to be able to fight for a roster spot. And this wide receiving core is very, very competitive this season. Damian Willis, haven't seen too much of him. He had a really good play downfield that was incomplete due to, obviously, Clayton Thorsen's incompetence, but Damian Willis made up for that, was kind of on a scramble play and was able to get Corey Ballentine not looking at him, and then it was Clayton Thorsen to thread the needle there to Damian Willis. Rice and John didn't really do much. Darius Slayton was there, but didn't really do much. And that's pretty much it for the receiving core. Now we go to the defense, where Darius Williams leads this team in tackling. And obviously, you guys know my motto all the time when it comes to cornerbacks. If your cornerback is your leading tackler, or your cornerback has a lot of tackles in general, that is not a good thing at all. Unless your cornerback is like a Marlon Humphrey, right? A guy that plays the run very well, the guy that actually tries when he plays the run, then that could be a good situation. But if you look at Darius Williams and his tackles, he has 6 solo tackles. Why is that? Because this guy was allowing everything to be caught on him, and then he was cleaning up the tackle. One thing I like about Darius Williams, from what I've seen from him, is that his makeup speed is incredible, right? Once he allows the catch, he does not allow that receiver to go too far. Darius Williams definitely seems a little bit overhyped right now. I know he's a 6th round pick, and he was getting first team reps, but that's the thing. He's a 6th round pick. A lot of people were thinking, hey, if Adoree Jackson goes down, Darius Williams would be a great filler for him, and he'll start the regular season. Listen, we don't want another Corey Ballentine situation. His story is besides getting shot in the buttocks, his story is exactly like Corey Ballentine so far in his short NFL career. He's also wearing the same number Corey Ballentine wore, so go figure, right? So Darius Williams has slowed down on him a little bit. He obviously was humbled here, and obviously Darius Williams stands are a little bit humbled here. He allowed everything that was coming to him. Like I said, it's not really his athleticism, it's his awareness. He needs to be able to know where he really struggled with wide receivers breaking on the route. He was with the wide receiver, but he wasn't able to anticipate what they were going to break on. So if they were breaking right, he kind of, stuttered a little bit and then would move right. And obviously his makeup speed helped him there, but it doesn't help with defending the pass. Madre Harper started as a cornerback as well. That's 2 corners. Obviously, these 2 corners allowed a lot of passes, and that's why, ironically, they are the leading tacklers, both with 8 tackles, both with 6 solo tackles. Quincy Wilson, I guess, did okay playing at safety. He seemed a little too scared to hit people, but, cornerbacks don't hit people, and safeties do, so it's a big transition there. Carter Coughlin started at inside linebacker, didn't see anything too intriguing there. Nico Lalos looked good, forcing pressure in the limited time he was playing. And if you look at our team, as far as sack totals go, Carter Coughlin had himself a sack. I cannot even remember that sack. I'll have to look at that because I do not remember Carter Coughlin getting a sack, so it must have been forgettable because I swear I was watching the game. I was not asleep, although I wanted to a couple of times. But other than that, the Giants really had a hard time forcing pressure. I know we had a couple of forced fumbles where Darius Williams was able to recover a forced fumble. I believe that was made by TJ Brunson. I could be wrong. I know there was a play made by TJ Brunson. I think that was that forced fumble that Darius Williams fell by himself on, and he got tripped up a little bit and fell. It seems to be a common theme for the New York Giants to get tripped up when they have an open field ahead of them. But the defense didn't play too bad. I mean, they faced the Jet starters and they held their own. They allowed only 3 points in like 2 quarters. All right, so they did what they needed to do. Without our star pieces, Blake Martinez, James Bradbury, Jabril Peppers, Xavier McKinney, I mean, the list goes on and on. Adoree Jackson, Darnay Holmes only played a little bit of snaps. Obviously, our whole D-line did not play, like Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams, Lorenzo Carter, O'Shane. We saw a little bit of Azeez Ojulari, right? He made a couple plays on the run, didn't force too much pressure in the passing game. I think maybe 1 or 2 pressures. Does it show that kind of stuff here? Azeez Ojulari, no, it doesn't really show that kind of stuff here. But I mean, we didn't do anything spectacular on defense. We were just able to contain their offense enough. I mean, we only allowed 12 points, and obviously it was basically just 10 because we allowed a safety at the end of the game. But I'm not upset with this team at all. I'm hoping that they shake off the rust and, put their heads down and get to work against the Cleveland Browns next week, Sunday, 1 o'clock. The Cleveland Browns look good in the preseason. They did a very, very good number on the Jacksonville Jaguars. They were able to hold Trevor Lawrence and Gardner Minshew to a total of 0 points. Jacksonville only scored in garbage time with their, fourth stringers against Cleveland's fourth stringers. So it was kind of the, battle of the bastards at that point. But this Cleveland preseason team looks pretty good. They have a lot of good depth, and that's something the Giants lack, and it's very clear that they lack that. So that being said, guys, I want to know your thoughts in the comment section below. We will be doing a pre-recorded video with Jets Central tomorrow, so you be on the lookout for that. We'll be talking Jets and Giants football and the outlook in 2021 and beyond. With all that being said, I'm your host, Kid Blue, and I'll see you guys in the next video.